Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Fantasy Friday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging, and it's in that nice collector-friendly blister packaging. Nice big blister on here, showcasing the figure, or most of the figure, and his accessories. And then at the top, you know, mythiclegions.com, sourcehorseman.com, storehorseman.com. And on this side, you can see he belongs to the Leodicius faction. Mythic Legions right here on the front that I forgot to say before. Nice, creative looking logo there. Then on this side, no text blurb. It just says Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder. And then, you know, it shows a couple of practical photography pictures of the guy. So then on the back, we got Four Horsemen. We've got some lovely artwork from... I'm not sure what series this is. It might be... an All-Stars wave. I think it is. And then there's a nice little text blurb. And I say little, but it's not little. So if you want to read that text, pause it right here and go for it. And then moving right along here, we have credits and small fine legalese stuff. And to see the entire collection, please visit mythiclegions.com. And then here's the cross sale. And that's this one right there. Well, that, my friends, does it for a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at the accessories. And we'll start with something that we've seen tons before, which is a shield, if I can pick it up. So, you know, this one's all kind of gunmetal-y, except for this ring on the inside here. But no, I take it back. It's gunmetal-y too. It's just the light made it shiny. So, you know, nice rivets. It's a nice little shield details on it. And of course, you know, we have the post back here. And then here is the handle, again, which we've seen before. It's got the port in it. And of course, the way that it works is you have to ring the hole. And there you go. Got a shield ready to go. Next up is a piece that is new to me. Now, I'm not saying it's new to the line, but I know this figure's a little bit of an older figure, but I didn't have him, and now I do. And now I have Sting. Actually, it's a gladiator sword, or a Roman short sword. Or at least that style. And it does have nice molded details on it. It's molded in a gunmetal. Or it's... I don't know what it's molded in. But it's painted with a gold gunmetal paint app on it. And, you know, it would have been nice to get a little bit of painted details down in here. But I understand this is a Legion builder. And basically what it's for is you put your own paint and stuff on it. Well, there's nothing wrong with this gunmetal look. It just would have been nice to have a little splash of color, you know, for the handle or whatever the case may be. So next up is his shoulder armor. He only comes with one piece because, of course, he only has one piece of armor on his arm there. And wow, he stole this from Snake Mountain because that says Skeletor to me. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, very nice skull details. Very nice, you know, just inlay details. It's a really nice looking, cool piece. Of course, there's the port. Pretty plain on the inside. And, you know, as far as deco or anything goes, it doesn't really have any on the outside. But that's okay, because it's a piece of armor. It doesn't really have to have, you know, paint on it, because it's all going to get knocked off anyway. He also comes with a set of alternate feet. And they're both the same, except for one's left, one's right. And it's Knight feet. K-N-I-G-H-T, not N-I-T-E. Of course, molded in this color plastic. And then, you know, well, this might not be. But I think it's all painted so it matches. But I could be wrong. Nice molded details in it. And that goes for the other piece as well. And, you know, it'll spin around where it attaches in. It does have, you know, rocker. And it does hinge back and forth. So I've got plans for those feet, and they're not for him. So last up for his accessories is his spear. Again, it's molded in one color, and I keep calling this gunmetal, but it's a little darker than that. So it's a dark gunmetal, I guess. And it's you know, kind of sparkly, but it's a spear. We've seen this. I reviewed this spear several times. It's almost like it's the only spear in the line. But I think there might be another one, or maybe two other ones, but this is the one that gets used the most. And for this character, or this figure, it makes sense, because it does kind of look Romanesque, gladiatorial, what have you. And let's take a look at the figure himself. Raise the camera up just a little bit. And you can see there's nothing going on inside that helmet. It's all empty. See all that black in there? It's not because it's a black dude. It's just, I guess, shading, and they didn't want to give it any details. So, you know, it is what it is. For an army builder or a legion builder, it seems like he might have come with a different head as well. But alas, that is not the case. So lots of nice molded details in there, dents in the helmet, and you know, it's pitted and scarred up and looks pretty well used. And I want to say this is a paint app for the main color, and it looks, well, in the light it looks like it's got a wash, but it doesn't. So, and then he's wearing the strap that we took a look at with the legendary barbarian. I'm sure we've seen this arm on a knight before. You know, we've seen the barbarian chest arms and bare legs. You know, we've seen that stuff before. This probably off of a knight of some kind. So, you know, nothing really new going on here, just the combination of stuff. You know, we've seen this waist overlay before. I don't think we've seen this before. But it does have a plug in it. It plugs in right there in the crotch piece. And then we've probably seen these shins on knights of some kind. And bare feet. Now, I don't believe that I have had bare feet before. So there we've got some bare feet. And they do have some nice molded details in it. And of course, they're not complete. I mean, on the bottom and, you know, right here, it's bare, but you know, you've got this piece of armor right here. But it makes sense for this guy because, you know, barefoot in the Colosseum. So it's even got some details there on the bottom. So very nice. I mean, overall, it looks like what it's supposed to be, which is a gladiator. So let's take a look at his articulation. He looks up that high. He looks down that far, so not really. And it's just a ball joint in there, so no chicken neck. He does have a little bit of waggle going on. Waggle, waggle. At the shoulder, 360 degrees worth of rotation. And he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees, and gives you that much bend. On the other side, let's see if he gets any better bend. Nope, he really doesn't. So, like this piece and the wrist spin around, and the wrist does spin also, but not all the way around because of this piece. And it has an in and out hinge there, so in and out. And then this side is an up and down hinge. So nothing in the torso. At the waist there's a half dumbbell or ball joint, whatever you want to call it. Gives him plenty of hula, a 360 degree rotation, allows him to lean back that far, allows him to crunch forward that far, allows him to lean left and right some at the hips. He gives you the full splits, plus he kicks forward that far, approximately 90 degrees, maybe a little bit less, and then back that far. And where this part of the hip inserts into this part of the leg, the bicep, there is a swivel there, although because of the mold, or the detail, the molded detail, you know, it hits the crotch piece, so it doesn't go all the way around. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, swivels around 360 degrees, and gives you approximately 90 degrees worth of bend. Then at the ankle, spins around 360 degrees, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and then it does have a pin for rocker. So that's nice. So as far as accessory storage goes, you know, this piece goes on, you know, pins in the hole there on this shoulder because that's the armored side. So there you go. We might have to heat that up a little bit to get it adjusted okay, but it's, I mean, it's not horrible. And then as far as this other stuff, I kind of wish that he had a belt or something to put his sword in. Maybe I've got one hanging around somewhere, because it doesn't really go in this one. So you can put his sword in his hand, and the other hand you either put the spear or the shield. And you know what? I'm going with the spear, because he can use all this armored bits as a shield. Alright. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder with the Four Horsemen Studios 2025 convention exclusive Mythic Legions Legendary Barbarian, and the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Necronominous Waves Sir Gideon Heavens Brand 2. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Deluxe Gladiator Legion Builder, I have to say, you know, it's a Legion builder. So it's pretty plain. It's made to be, you know, modified. It's made to be painted and customized. I guess that's the right word I'm looking for. It's made really to be customized. So there's not a lot of paint apps and stuff on it, and that's just how it's supposed to be. Now, I do think, you know, he does cut a pretty cool image of a gladiator from, you know, Coliseum, arenas, whatever, what have you. I do think, you know, he really evokes that. I don't want to say nostalgia for that kind of thing. I've never watched a battle to the death in the gladiator arena, but, you know, it evokes that imagery, I suppose, is what I'm looking for, of, you know, various movies and such where we've had gladiatorial combat. And, you know, I'm sure gladiators didn't think it was cool. The people that got eaten by lions, I'm sure they really didn't think it was cool, that kind of stuff. But, you know, in a way, it is kind of cool until you think about, oh, these guys were fighting for the death, for their freedom, because they were slaves. Yeah, that's the bad part of it. But unfortunately, that's just the way that Rome was. And, you know, it wasn't a fair place. It wasn't a cool place. And I'm sure the I cannot think of the name of it, but the place in Mythos where they had their Coliseum or arena or whatever it was, you know, I'm sure it wasn't a good place either. Because here it is, you're having, you know, you can't really do what you want, and you have to train all the time, you have to fight people to the death, or you're going to get killed, and not a great time. Although, you know, the Roman gladiators, you know, that stuff had its perks too. It wasn't all just combat. There was benefits to it as well, you know, because, you know, if you have fighters, you kind of want to keep them happy so that they keep fighting, especially if they're a winner. But I don't know. I'm just talking out my butt, I guess. So, but as far as this guy goes, you know, he's pretty much plain Jane Mythic Legion's gladiator figure. So, you know, one of these for me is gonna do it. But, you know, if you're a customizer, you like to paint stuff, popping and swapping and all that good stuff, that's what this figure's made for. So, and I'm sure if you want one, you probably already have one, because I'm late into the Mythic Legions game by several years. So, you know, I'm kind of building up my collection with, you know, some older stuff. Maybe not super old stuff, but along and newer stuff. And, well, anyway, I've rambled on long enough. That does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help channel grow, or both. That's even better. Excuse me. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.